AHMA, which we know as Partners in Indigenous Energy Efficiency and Resilience. So for today, we will be first starting off with a land acknowledgement. So I'd like to first say that at AHMA, we honor elder past, present, and future from all nations and traditional territories. The land and waters known as BC are indigenous territory and belong to over 290,000 indigenous people and 200 distinct First Nations. So to pause for a second just to acknowledge that. So for today, what we have on the agenda will be first introductions, then we will be looking over the funding opportunity, which will be done by Sarah. And then we'll be looking at the Partners Indigenous Energy Efficiency and Resilience. That's basically the peer initiative. And then we'll be having a breakout room where we'll get a chance to discuss one of the things that we have heard from the presentation as we go along. After that, we'll have a brief Q&A session, and that will also give folks a chance to ask any question that they would have had from our presentations. So during the course of the hour, I just want to highlight a few things. One would be the presentation, just to highlight that we strive to make the presentation accessible. So please use the chat to let us know if you need any support. Myself will be available to help with any issues that we're having, like for viewing our audio support, what I can do on my end. As regards to engagement, we like to see ourselves as a family here. So we like to conduct it and by using the raise hand view for Zoom. And we also would appreciate if we could kindly, all of us, keep our camera on, because we want to achieve an in-the-room session without being in the room, if you understand what I mean. So that's what we're aiming for. We could have that free-flowing kind of discussion, see the expressions, and kind of make it that kind of family-oriented meeting, sorry. Lastly, we want to ensure that whilst we're listening to the presentation, we use, we understand it from a sense of cultural safety. The presentation aims to share knowledge in a way that empowers self-determination. As we know, knowledge is indeed power, and we are committed to improving access to information. So just keep that in mind. And as we listen as well to the presentation, please feel free at any point in time to raise your hands or interrupt Sarah or hopefully Seth and Devon as well. So just to get your point out, or we can also put it in the chat and I will direct them to whomever it is that you would like it to be directed to. And without further ado, I would like to welcome our three presenters, my manager, Sarah Fralin, here at AHMA, Engagement and Technical Services. Seth Oldman, I met Seth Oldman last month. He's been a very engaging individual so far, and I really appreciate his knowledge in this field. He's the Energy Efficiency and Program Manager at BC Hydro, and Mr. Devon Miller, the Indigenous Community Energy Coach at CleanBC. So I want to welcome all three presenters, and now I'll be turning over to Sarah Fralin, who will begin the first presentation.
Thanks, Nicholas. And just folks that don't know, Nicholas is our AHMA Energy Program Advisor who's here to support you on your energy journey. Thanks.
I forgot to introduce my own self.
That's all right. So I just wanted to start us off by kind of introducing the funding landscape. So as you are taking care of your buildings, there's going to be times when you need to do capital improvement projects. And there are a number of funding sources that can support you on your journey towards asset stewardship, whether that's when you're gathering building data through building condition assessments and studies, or working towards capital planning and capital projects to renovate or retrofit your buildings. And so the purpose of this slide is just to show that there are a number of funding opportunities out there. And I want to remind folks that AHMA is here to help you navigate that funding landscape. That if your building is in need of support and you are considering undertaking studies and projects, to please reach out to us because we're here to help. And with that, we've created a funding guide to support you on your journey. You can use your smartphone to take a photo of the QR code on the screen, and that will bring you to a PDF of the funding guide that's readily available. You can also access the funding guide through our Toolbox newsletter that comes out twice a month. And if you're not subscribed to that, you can just let me know in the chat and I can subscribe you there. But we support securing funding for all phases of project development, as well as stacking funding. We recognize that it can be more and more difficult to secure traditional sources of funding through BC Housing, and that more often than not, projects require us to secure funding from multiple sources. And so the funding guide also supports decision making around how you can stack funding to support your building type and your capital project needs.
So at this point, I'm just going to have Seth get his presentation ready. I will stop sharing my screen and I'll just allow him to get his presentation ready as well. Thank you so much, Sarah.
All right, I am ready to go. Yeah, and hello everyone. So I'm just gonna share my screen. I'm not a familiar Zoom user, so I have to I was like, where's my screen? But it's like you have to scroll down for it. So I'm hoping that everyone is seeing that slide deck there. It looks like so.
Yeah, that looks great.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and I think.
Sorry, his audio is breaking up for me.
Yeah, me too. Seth, do you have a microphone you might be able to plug in? We'll pause while Seth gets that sorted. To the funding guide in the chat as well. And if you're going through that and you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Nicholas at any time. We're here to support your journey in accessing and unlocking some of this funding.
Can you maybe send it to us via email?
I can definitely do that, Rosanna.
Thank you.
For sure. Yeah, and the funding guide, we recognize funding programs are changing all the time. So we do make an effort to keep it up to date. We update it about twice a year. And then we send out notifications in the Toolbox newsletter around those changes to funding programs as they happen. Yeah, and again, the best way to support, funding your capital project or capital planning is to reach out to AHMA and work directly with our staff in the asset management department. We're here to support you. So I apologize for the technical difficulties. Does anybody have any questions so far I might be able to answer? All right, I'll just give Seth another moment.
I would say sometimes it just for myself, I sometimes wonder, am I paying attention to what BC Housing's doing? Is this included in the stuff that Lance is doing for us? Who's doing what, where? Who do we respond to? Sometimes I'm kind of frozen. I'm like, when information especially comes from BC Housing or somewhere else. And so appreciate today that it came from AHMA, because I pay attention to all the AHMA stuff, but sometimes when BC Nonprofit or BC Housing sends something to us, I freeze and kind of go, gee, I don't know if I should jump in on this here, or is it going to come down the pipe with AHMA afterwards?
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, I think because BC Housing serves such a broader, segment of all nonprofit housing, it's not always specific to the needs of Indigenous housing providers. And that is why we wanted to feature this funding program, because it is new and it is specific to Indigenous housing providers, and even more so specific to single-family homes, which is an area that has been chronically underfunded in the past. So we are really excited that, BC Hydro and FortisBC in the province kind of all came together to co-develop this program. And although it's not all-encompassing, it is focused on energy retrofits, and energy conservation, so it won't cover all your capital needs. It is a program that can be stacked with other funding sources. So if you are thinking of doing, a broader project on your single family home and you have things that are outside the energy scope, we can still do a CRF application to BC Housing, but we'll stack that funding with this peer program. And I think that makes the application to BC Housing more attractive, because we're asking less from BC Housing and showing that we're making an effort to stack funding from multiple sources together and leverage the opportunities that are out there.
I would just add too, I completely can understand that. I think that, the busy funding landscape, it can be hard to navigate. I completely can understand that. I guess what I'd say, one thing that we have tried to do is kind of a guiding principle for peer is we are combining 3 existing programs into one. So, beforehand there was a BC Hydro program, there's a FortisBC program, there's CleanBC, and folks would need to register in at least 3 programs, maybe more, to support their work, which is obviously not ideal from a efficiency or customer perspective. And so while we haven't, there's still lots of other programs out there, there's at least, I guess, 2 or 3 fewer ones, and we've kind of try to make this a one-stop shop. All right, let's try this.
I can see your screen. Looks good.
Success. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see if Seth's able to come back. If not, I'll just jump in and do the presentation. I have given it before, so I'm happy to if need be.
Thanks, Devin.
Let's see if he's.
I think if you're comfortable taking over, that would be great.
I'm just going to come. I'm just letting Seth know. I'm just going to do it. Hey, everybody. My name is Devin Miller. I'm one of the energy coaches for the peer program. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm sure Seth will be back for the Q&A point. And I know we want to leave time for the Q&A point. So hopefully we'll have some fewer technical issues going forward. But yeah, today's presentation. So we'll give a brief overview of the program. There's 4 program offers available through peer. I'll give a brief overview of each of those. Hopefully enough information to give you what you need today. And then, there's some information to provide around the coaching service and the customer journey that we want to make sure you're aware of, particularly in the case of AHMA member society. So we'll go through there. There's some program links. We can certainly share this presentation after the fact with the links live so that you can have that program information. And of course, our emails will be provided by the end of the presentation as well. So Peer is a new program, and it is, as I mentioned in my initial comments, is one new program that was designed to support energy efficient, low carbon home and building construction and retrofit work in Indigenous communities. It has been developed over the last 2 years. We had a program advisory committee, including made up with representatives from AHMA, Pat. Hi, Pat. We had 4 goals going into this program. We wanted to support affordable clean energy projects. So the program provides both enabling support and enhanced incentives to plan and implement residential retrofit projects. We've introduced some more capacity building support, which I'll get into in a few slides. Second goal is to reduce energy use and greenhouse gas emissions. So the program is designed to help to improve energy use practices across the community. The third is to help simplify the incentive landscape. So that's previous to a comment I made at the top of the meeting. So there was a lot of market confusion out there between sort of the BC Hydro, FortisBC, CleanBC programs. What are the different eligibility requirements? What are the different processes? So we really wanted to work to simplify that landscape and make it easier for Indigenous governing bodies to advance their energy efficiency and electrification goals. And we really worked to incorporate feedback from existing programs in terms of elements they liked and folks liked, and what folks might have thought there's room for improvement from a process and content standpoint. And then lastly, we wanted to reflect Indigenous perspectives. So there was an Indigenous-led approach. We want to support Indigenous-led approaches to energy-efficient, low-carbon home retrofits. We wanted to include Indigenous perspectives in the development of the program. And so that refers to that program advisory committee that we mentioned and we've been meeting with periodically over the last few years to help design the program. This visual is meant to describe this simplifying of the program landscape for residential retrofits. So many folks on the call might be familiar with previous programs shown. So BC Hydro's Indigenous Communities Conservation Program, as well as FortisBC's Indigenous Communities Conservation Program. The CleanBC Indigenous Community Energy Coach and Heat Pump Incentive was the program that I previously ran prior to PEER. And as well as the CleanBC Energy Savings Program. Now, something important to note around the Energy Savings Program is that program still exists and runs, and it's available to anyone in BC. However, the funding levels in that program have been aligned under the PEERS program framework. So that's why it's part of this visual. Is there was a lot of different rebate amounts out there depending on what program you were going to access, and we wanted to align to the highest rebate offers available to support Indigenous community work. So there are 4 program offers for residential retrofits through the PEER program. I'll go through these each one at a time. There's energy efficiency retrofit incentives, energy assessment funding, heating system maintenance rebates, and basic energy savings measures. An important point in terms of general eligibility of the program, and I think particularly of relevance to the folks on this call, are the eligible building types. So it is, in terms of eligible participants, First Nations or Indigenous housing providers are eligible. This is for communities that are on-grid or grid-connected communities. In terms of eligible building types, the target for this first phase of PEER is single-family detached, duplex, triplex, row homes or townhomes. And as we noted here, so electricity must be provided by BC Hydro, FortisBC, or other BC municipal utilities. And natural gas must be provided by FortisBC or Pacific Northern Gas. So the first stream that I'll give an overview of is the energy efficiency retrofit incentives. We provide through PEER incentivized measures for energy efficiency incentives. So lots of things that will be familiar to many folks on this call: building envelopes, so windows, doors, insulation, space heating and cooling, heat pumps, high efficiency gas furnaces, water heating, appliances. And we also have what we call enabling funding. So health and safety measures as they relate to energy efficiency incentives. So that's things like mold remediation and hazardous material remediation, as well as ventilation and electrical service upgrades. This is sort of another chart just sort of summarizing everything that's provided here. So like I said, in the building envelope, there's insulation and windows and doors funding, air source heat pumps, both ductless and central systems, dual fuel space heating systems, high efficiency natural gas furnaces and boilers. Those are for certain climate zones 6 through 8, programmable thermostats, heat pump water heaters, high efficiency natural gas water heaters, Energy Star refrigerators, Energy Star chest freezers, and then the other enabling measures that I mentioned, such as health and safety, ventilation systems, and electrical infrastructure upgrades. So that captures both service upgrades as well as panel upgrades. The next stream of funding is the energy assessment funding. So PEER offers funding of up to $500 per home for energy assessments or building condition assessments with an energy efficiency and climate component. Purposely, we have developed some flexibility about what we refer to when we're talking about home energy assessments. So a very common one is the EnerGuide home evaluation. It's probably the most common one we've seen through the program. That can provide up to $500 in total incentives per premises. However, we've also allowed alternative home energy assessments if they have energy efficiency focus. And I think something quite pertinent to this audience is for townhouse complexes. We do allow ASHRAE level 2 audits, and that was something that was recommended to be captured because I know that some AHMA member societies and AHMA in general likes to use these in certain instances instead of unit by unit home guide home evaluation. So we have captured that, and it's a slightly lower per unit, but maximum of 8,000 per townhouse complex and up to 400 in total per premises. The third stream is the heating system maintenance rebates. So PEER offers incentives for the annual maintenance of gas furnaces and boilers, electric heat pumps, gas water heaters, and gas fireplaces. I would imagine this might be of interest to several folks on this call. I don't think I'll read out each line by line, and certainly this slide will be provided to you all afterwards, but there is basically incentive maximums per calendar year for a variety of maintenance, annual maintenance, things like filters for heat pumps and furnaces and boilers and things of that nature. Communities can access this multiple times. And the idea is to sort of support quality performance of these systems in the buildings. The last stream is the basic energy savings measures. So this will be perhaps familiar to some folks on this call. This was an existing program that was offered through BC Hydro and FortisBC, which provides free energy savings products to communities. So energy efficiency LED light bulbs, high efficiency water fixtures, draft proofing measures, and other products like smart power strips and clothes drying racks and clotheslines. But it also includes some salary support and training. So training for community buildings in the product installation, salary support of $150 per participating home, and a training stipend of $1,000. How it works is the community's teams will be prepared and able to go into homes and install the energy savings products and collect information on the building condition of the housing department as they install products. Two additional and new supports that are offered through PEER that were added based on feedback we've received over the last few years are project management funding and a prepayment pathway. So project management funding is available for retrofit and assessment offers. It's intended to support staff or as the case may be, external consultants with project planning and implementation, completion of project workbooks, and submission of applications and required documentation. For eligible projects, the PM funding is 10% of a project's calculated incentive for eligible retrofits. And then the prepayment pathway is also available to retrofit and assessment projects. And the prepayment pathway is 50% of the project's calculated incentive funding, and that's provided upfront upon review and approval of the application. Okay, now I'm going to go through the coaching service. I'm just aware of time. I think we're doing okay, Sarah, but let me know. I think I have about 4 or 5 minutes left, and then we can.
No, you're great. You can go for another 10 minutes. It's fine. If you need.
Excellent. Thanks, Sarah. So some of you may have access or have experience working with BC Hydro, FortisBC, and or CleanBC coaches such as myself or program reps. Basically, we're here to help you. We're available to answer questions, support through project processes. You know, I can speak to my sort of day-to-day. I meet with lots of communities. Well, obviously, one key aspect of those meetings is giving them a presentation, something similar to this, to let them know what's available through the program if they're not available. But some folks might have a specific project in mind, and so we'll talk about that and maybe some recommendations around phasing or how best to go about it. So that's what the coaches are here for, is really to help. And we provide help sometimes on Teams calls, sometimes by phone calls, sometimes by email. There's a full team of project coaches to support PEER that are here to support you in your projects and how to navigate through PEER. Okay, I'm going to spend a little bit of time on the customer journey, and this is a little bit unique for this call. So, as a first step for AHMA member societies, you have sort of two options. You can work with AHMA staff who can help get your society registered for the program, or you can contact one of us directly. We have from the website, you can connect with an energy coach, That will send an email to the project team. We have a process for assigning coaches that we deal with. It might be myself, it might be Marilyn, who's also on the call, depending on sort of the project, what you're looking to do, other characteristics. We assign a project coach. So that's sort of a unique aspect for this audience with AHMA. There'd be sort of a pre-step. You would either, like I said, work with AHMA staff, or you would pre-register with us, and we would be a bit aware that you are AHMA member society, and we'd take it from there. Next step would be that you would apply in what is called the SEM Hub. And so I will describe what SEM Hub is, but applications for any peer program offer are completed through what is called the Conservation and Energy Management, or SEM Hub. What SEM Hub is it's the online platform. It's a BC Hydro sort of website that supports peer and other program offers. I think it's important to note that SEM Hub is different from My Hydro. Some of the folks on the call might have experience accessing My Hydro, for example, which outlines your bills or your building bills or something like that. This is separate. This is created for program support. On the right here is a screen grab. It is a fairly user-friendly interface. It's meant to be very user-friendly. Coaches are here again to support, navigate you through this, but you would be provided a login and get access your account through SEM Hub once you've registered with Peer. What is shown on this slide is sort of a high-level, step-by-step process of the incentive application process. This is generalized. It'll depend a little bit about the types of work that you're looking to do, but I think it's illustrative here. So notwithstanding the previous slide I mentioned that is unique to AHMA member societies, in general, you'd start your application in the peer program dashboard in SEM Hub. Depending on the pathway you're looking to proceed with, whether you're looking at prepayment or rebate, for example, you will need to submit required documents. That might be quotes and a workbook. If it's a prepayment pathway, we often need a bit more information than that. That is then uploaded to SEM Hub. The application is reviewed and approved, and the prepayment is made if applicable. Then the work can be completed. So whether that's the assessment work or the retrofit work, team can go ahead. Then you would log back into the SEM Hub to submit your final documents and declare project completion. Final documents usually look like paid invoices of the work completed, and a project workbook. Again, the coach is here to help you walk through this process. And then the incentive payment is made, or if you had access to prepayment, it would be your second payment of the prepayment pathway. So that's at a high level, some sort of the project process. I think key takeaways for this group is A, coaches are here to help walk you through this. B, there are documents that get uploaded to a portal. And C, it depends if you're accessing the prepayment pathway or not in terms of when the payments are made. Okay, and before we, I guess, open it up for questions, we've put together some FAQs, some things that have been coming in lately, just to sort of be clear about some of these program elements, and some important information for participants to know about peer. So who is eligible? I think we mentioned this earlier on, but Indigenous governing bodies connected to the main integrated electricity grid and or natural gas infrastructure. I think it's important to note here that clean energy and energy efficiency projects in communities connected to remote microgrids are funded through Community Energy Diesel Reduction Program. I don't think that's super relevant to this audience, but just worth noting here. There are limitations on how many projects you can apply for at the same time. So it varies a little bit based on the offer, but you can have no more than 2 active energy efficiency retrofit incentive projects at one time, no more than 1 active community building heat pump project at one time, no more than 1 active energy assessment funding project at one time, and no more than 1 active basic energy savings measures project at one time. A follow-up question some of you might have on this is, what determines a project? What if it's a multi-year type of thing or something like that? You would work with your coach to adequately scope the project so that we would only have 2 at one time, but you can certainly come back and access multiple funding streams through the program. However, there is a project funding limit to do with the energy efficiency retrofit incentives. So the program has a maximum cap of up to $400,000 for eligible energy efficiency retrofit incentive program. And the project funding for each participant is limited to $1 million total over 2 years. And that timeline starts from the submission of the first application. We often get questions about the prepayment amount. So the prepayment options are available for all peer program offers except for heating system maintenance rebates, and a 50% prepayment of the total eligible project funding is processed upon review and approval of the application and supporting documentation. Some other common questions that come up are if HPCN contractors are required. They are recommended through peer, but not required. You can have that conversation.
What's HPCN stand for again?
Oh, thank you, Sarah. The High Performance Contractor Network. Some other programs do require that you need to use a High Performance Contractor Network contractor. For example, the CleanBC Energy Savings Program does require that. But we do not require it, though we recommend it. Common questions about invoicing. We have example invoices that we can be provided that can be passed along to your contractors that demonstrate the required information that's available for all relevant work. There's a few unique ones. This might be familiar to some folks on the call of FortisBC, a DSML Ally app, whether that needs to be used for dual fuel heating systems. And yes, it does. That's usually provided by the contractor, but it might be of relevance to some folks on this call. If there's a cutoff date for transitioning projects to peer from previous programs, and at a high level, work installed prior to the June 4th launch should be captured through previous funding programs, but you can talk to your coach about that depending on your timelines of your project. And then lastly, I think this is something that comes up a fair bit as sort of the consultants and contractors role that are supporting IGBs, and what is appropriate there. So something that's important is that the IGB's lead must be the primary contact, and they will be noted as the primary contact in SemHub. But if the contractor has been approved by the IGB to be sort of a representative, then they can be set up with a SemHub user profile to support the application process. I think I see some questions coming in. This is the last slide. We have added a bunch of links. This slide deck will be shared after this. So these links will be live basically to the various program landing pages where you can access the Request an Energy Coach and the SemHub log page and other SemHub resources. So with that, I can't see the questions that have come in, but with that, I'll pause now and thank you again for having us here today. And we're both available for questions.
Thanks, Devin. If folks have a question, they can just unmute themselves. So you can throw it in the chat, whatever you're most comfortable with. There was a point just noting that there's a benefit of going through the peer program compared to the non-Indigenous rebate programs because there are some enhanced rebate levels. So that there's more funding available for Indigenous housing providers than the non-Indigenous housing providers. Does anybody else have a question or comment? Great, so we did share some of our contact info in the chat. You can reach out to the energy coaches at coach@peer.ca. You can reach out to myself at AHMA, and we'll support you on your journey, including how to register for the CEM portal. That can be a bit of a barrier to accessing the program. We recognize that, and that's why we're here to support you.
I was going to ask Sarah if there's anyone who wanted, if Seth wanted to add anything before we go into our breakout rooms. We have some time, so if you wanted to add anything, yeah, it's a really good time to add something.
No, thanks. Yeah, sorry about my technical difficulties. Devin, you're well experienced and practiced at delivering this deck on your own anyway. So yeah, sorry to leave you in the lurch there. I'm not sure what happened. Nothing to add. I think the content's all there. And I guess, we can get into specific questions in the breakout rooms and kind of take it from there. Thanks for covering, Devin.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Perfect. So now we're going to just pause for a second, and then Sarah is going to organize us into breakout rooms. Hopefully we get to have some good conversations in those rooms. Will be led by Seth and Devon, as well as Sarah will be there as well, and Shahed should join as well. So over to you, Sarah.
Yeah, great. So in just a moment, you'll see a pop-up inviting you to join a breakout room. You can join either one to chat further with Devin and Seth, or to talk to me about the services AHMA provides. And we'll just spend a little bit less than 10 minutes there before we all come back together. Thank you so much. If you have any trouble joining a room, you can ask for help from Nicholas and he'll help you.
Okay, thanks for moving, Devin. I wasn't sure if I was frozen again.
Was that said?
Nothing. Thank you for moving. I thought it was frozen. Everybody was quite still, and I wasn't sure if I had lost the plot again.
No, you seem good. That connection seems more stable now, Seth. Hey, looks like we have one taker, Dustin. Hi, Dustin. Oh, we lost him. So I guess no Pure Lady questions. We'll just hang out until we join again.
I thought I'd assigned some folks to this room as well, but it seemed like they went to the other room.
That's all right.
Just I've been making use of the time, Devin, just to kind of PDF the slides, and I'm sending them to Sarah
nice.
right now. I'm just kind of getting an email ready, so she'll have that and can share it, and also clarifying again the email address to use. Our email structure is not intuitive.
Yeah.
Easy to assume that.
I know when I think I confused matters because Sarah had asked for my, like the best one.
Yeah, totally.
At that point was with Sarah would be the peer.coach, but yeah, I do.
Yeah. I'm just kind of clarifying that the coach chat is the sort of like initial request and energy coach inquiries, and then if they do get assigned to a CleanBC coach, that would be the one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm actually just gonna be right back.
Oh, hey, Tammy.
Great. So I'm going to bring everyone back from the breakout rooms. I think that was good. We had a nice discussion in our room about what's going on at Caribou and Wilma's. Lots of assessment work happening right now, which is the first step, right? We'll give folks, it just gives them like a little 30-second countdown to end the other room, and then they can come back here as well. We'll close in a good way, and I'll let Nicholas do that. It'll force them back in 10 seconds. Great, I think everyone is back here. Nicholas, do you want to close us in a good way?
Great, so we're all back. Do we have any additional questions that we would like to pose to anyone that wasn't put in a room or wasn't in a room that day, wanted to ask somebody a question in? You want to ask an AHMA or ask Sarah a question? No? Okay, well, just want to say thanks to everyone who took the time to join our session today, our webinar today. On behalf of myself and Sarah, Frelin, our manager, Shahed as well. Just thank you so much to Devon as well as Seth. Thank you guys for your presentation. I'm sure everyone on this link appreciated very much what was communicated. Again, feel free to save any of our information. We'll be happy to share. I believe Seth and Devon will be sharing the PDF to the presentation as well. So you can look forward to that.
Sounds good. I'm just in the midst of sending it to Sarah, so either Sarah can send it, I can send it either way. Maybe that's Sarah.
Yeah, we'll pull it all together with the recording of the presentation and everyone's contact info and share that out to the participants. Thank you.
I was PDFing it while I wasn't presenting because Devin was covering for us. So.
Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. And I'm not sure if Sarah has any last words she wants to add.
I think just thank you, Nicholas, for facilitating today. And we look forward to supporting all our members in their capital planning and retrofit journey. So please reach out anytime with any questions that you have. Thank you. And have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Happy Friday all.